Today I will talk first on ex-Muslims. You know about ex-Muslims?
Heard of few names which you mentioned before.
These are those people who have left Islam and they believe that they are atheist. Now even these ex-Muslims, first of all they are reacting to Islam, and then they are also believers because they have not explored to the very end. In fact, they have not explored. The only religion they know is Islam, or at the most Abrahamic religion. So it is sheer dishonesty that you have concluded something. You cannot be atheist if you are honest. You can be agnostic. You can say that I don't know. But when you say I don't know, then you will have to explore. But if you claim that you know, then the ego is nourished very much. So everyone wants to claim. But really intelligent people like Socrates will say, I know nothing. He said that the only thing I know is that I know nothing. This is sign of wisdom. This is sign of intelligence. Even Lao Tzu said that the whole world seems certain. Only I am confused. Anyone who is really intelligent cannot claim that I know everything. Even those who are real great scientists like Newton, he said that I am just counting sands on the bank of the river or the bank of the ocean. I have yet to dive into it. So this existence is so vast, so infinite. How can you claim that you know everything? And this word God is very confusing. I may be using it for different thing. You may be using it for something different. As far as personal God is concerned, this is very childish idea. A God is sitting on the seventh heaven with white beards or anything like that, and he has created this universe at certain time. This is all bullshit. But once they become reactionary, they put all the religions in the same basket. These religions, these are cults. Even if you call them religion, then this is not equivalent to dharma. Dharma is something very different. Our word, the Eastern or Indian word is dharma, which is very different. They don't know what it means, so they equate both as the same. Dharma is not something which you have imposed on yourself or which you have taken from outside. You may have read Gita, you may have read Upanishad or Bible. That will not make you a dharmic person. That may be of some help. These are just milestones. These are just indication that this is the way you have to go. But that cannot make you a religious person or a dharmic man. The real dharma can happen only within you. No one from outside can give it to you. And the word dharma means something which is holding you, without which you cannot exist. The word dharma means something which is holding you, not something which you are holding. The word dharma means that without which you cannot exist. So whatever belief and faith you are bringing from outside is not dharma. You may be believing in anything, you may be believing in God, you may not be believing in God. It makes no difference. Dharma you have to found within you. Until and unless this question arises within you, who am I? What am I? What is my real nature? You are not a seeker. You are not an explorer of the inner world. So only a person who starts seeking without any preconceived idea, without any belief, without any faith, is on the way of dharma. Only when you come to know yourself, who you are, you can call yourself a religious person. Before that, you are just a believer. You may be believing in atheism, you may be atheist. These are all belief. Maybe atheist is little more dishonest. Because until and unless I have come to know something, what is the point to claim? That is dishonesty. When you say, I believe in God, this is sheer dishonesty. It is like saying, I believe in sun. Either you know it or you don't know it. So, and they try to find out all the garbage in all the religion, and then they will say that all the garbages are in other religion also. But only very few people come to know truth. And they can also only show you the way. You have to travel the whole way. No one can give you the truth. Otherwise, all those believers, they can also say many things. Or there may be many people who know little bit and then they start saying. And once you start believing in Krishna or Buddha or anyone, there is a chance that you will become fanatic. And you may claim things which you don't know. In India, anyone can claim anything. This is the freedom that is available here, which in most of the other countries it is not available. So anyone can write any book and he can claim that I have come to know the truth. But there are very few people who have come to know the truth. And these ex-Muslim, they will just quote from somewhere something very third rate, and then they will say that this is written in the scriptures of Hindus also. They will quote from Manusmriti. Then there are thousands of scriptures. Their numbers are, you cannot even count them, how many people have written in these thousands of years. All those people have not reached to the truth. And then they can say that it is written in Vedas. Something is written and this is not very refined. This doesn't look like a very evolved thought. But what is Veda? Vedas, these Vedas are just like encyclopedia. All the knowledge that these people have gained. It's not just those who are enlightened. Anyone who has gained, who has any knowledge, they have said something, and it is collection of all those things. So you can find many things in Vedas which you can call as trash. There are only, if you are a meditator, you will find that there are some jewels in between. It's not that the whole Veda is the most evolved thought. It has so many things. There are places where it is written that someone is saying that in my land there should be rain and not in the land of my enemy. But this is common people who are talking these things. So the whole Veda is not divine or anything. But there are some sages also who have said something in Vedas. But these are very in few places. They will quote, they will say something about Manusmriti. But this Manusmriti is not written by an enlightened man. He may have said many things against women. He may have said many things against Sudras. But he is not an enlightened sage. But in India, everyone has a freedom. Everyone had the freedom. Now in America, anyone can write any book on spirituality, on meditation. They are not all enlightened people. So in this way, you cannot say that Islam, Christianity and Hinduism, they are all same. And our religion is not Hinduism. It is even this name is given by the foreigners. The name for religion here is Sanatan Dharma. No one can claim that I am the founder of this Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan, the very word means eternal, and Dharma means the laws. So, this you have to find within you what the eternal laws of existence which is ruling you. So, anyone, if one comes to discover it, and that has to be discovered within you. You cannot find it outside. No one can give it to you from outside. You have to go to the very source of your consciousness. Only there you will be able to find the eternal laws which governs you. And that is same for everyone. And that you can find only when you go within you. You cannot find it outside. It is like at 100 degree the water is evaporated. So it will be same anywhere, whether it is in India or in America. And then they will say, I was listening to some ex-Muslim, they will say that all the religions have committed violence. Even Buddhists have committed violence. All those people who are unconscious, they are of the same type. There can be little bit difference. But Buddhists have not committed violence to spread their religion. Some emperor may have done it. It is not to spread the religion, and you will not find in any real Buddhist scripture which is given by an enlightened man. They will be saying that kill others to spread religion. Nowhere in any scripture, whether of Hindus or Buddhist or Jaina, you will find this kind of thing. But it is written in Quran. Very clearly it is written in their scriptures. In Judaism, they say that God is saying, I am not your uncle, I am your father, and I am a very angry God. These are all fictitious inventions of human being. Only in one scriptures of Hindu, that is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that kill these people. These are evil people. They have committed so much sins. But those people whom he said that kill them, they were all Hindus. They were not of different religion. He was not saying kill these people, convert them. If they are not ready to convert, then kill them. He said to Arjuna, kill them because they have committed so much sin. They are going against the dharma. They are going against the laws of existence. They are evil people. And if they go on ruling the people, people will suffer too much. The Pandavas whom Krishna was supporting, he said that you are virtuous people, so you should rule. And first Krishna went to these Kauravas that you give these Pandavas 5 villages. They won't ask anything else. And these Kauravas were not even ready to give even that much land which a needle can contain. This Duryodhana said that I will not give even that much land which is equivalent to a needle. And those land he captured, it was their land. So he captured them by manipulation, by trickery, by false means. So Krishna said kill them because they have done so much sin. They have already been killed by existence. Only you will be regarded as an instrument that you have killed. Though they have already been killed, their sin has already killed them. So, in no scripture, no real authentic scripture of East, it is written that you kill people to spread religion, you convert people. There can be king anywhere, they will kill people to gain power. But that has nothing to do with religion. Their religious scripture is not sanctioning them. But those who are greedy for power, they will be killing anywhere, whether it is east or west. But these people are not religious people. And in India, there is 4 endeavor which is said that everyone has to attain these 4 endeavors. The first is earth. Those who are living in a family, they should earn wealth. Wealth should be earned by good means. And then the second thing which you have to do is calm. Calm means you have all the right to enjoy pleasures. Pleasures which you can get through all the sense organs. Medium for all those pleasure is sense organ. Then the third thing is dharma. In its deeper meaning, dharma means the laws which is holding you, without which you cannot exist. Then dharma has other meaning also, that you should live your life in virtuous way. Whatever you are doing should be through right means. You should be non-violent, you should be compassionate, loving. Then the last endeavor, the last thing which you have to do is moksha. That is liberation. So there begins the real spirituality. And our word for spirituality is adhyatma. Adhyatma, the very word means what is inside the Atma. That which is inside you. Atma means you. Or I. The real I. So you have to find within you what is the reality, what is your reality. It is no search for God outside. If you are searching for God outside, you are wasting your life. You have to understand your mind, you have to understand your psychology, you have to understand your greed, lust, anger, by being more conscious, by being watchful. And as you understand these things, you will transcend these things. So, it has nothing to, the Eastern spirituality has nothing to do with God. Ultimately, when you have gone beyond those things, you become God. Because what is within you is in the cosmos also. What is in the microcosm is in macrocosm also. What is in the drop is in the ocean also. You contain divinity. So once you have come to know your reality, your inner source, your very depth, your very center, then you become God. You become one with truth. As long as you are seeking for some God outside, a God who is separate from you, then you are in search for fiction. And when you are in search for fiction, then you can commit any crime in the name of God. You can do any violence in the name of God. So, that's why if you see all these Abrahamic religion, they may be saying about that Jesus say, love thy neighbor as thyself. Love is his message. But this is only curtain. This is just a camouflage. Everywhere they have just killed people. All these crusades, just to kill and convert. They have been no less than the Mohammedans in killing, in violence. Just 1 or 2 days back, I heard a Christian who was converted to Sanatan. He was saying that it is written, the Pope will say that, and it is written in their scriptures that all those land which is not owned by the Christian, they regard it as empty land. So you have all the right to take all those land. So they go on taking land from other people. And if you see how they have become rich, the whole West, they have been behaving like thieves and robbers. Just yesterday I was listening to a Muslim, very intelligent man. He said that in Mali, there were some French army people. They were carrying in their truck, the truck full of gold bricks. They have stolen it. Maybe in Mali there may be gold mine, so they have stolen it from there. So he was saying that if you see that in the in their treasury, you will not find any gold in the treasury of Mali. But in France, there are thousands of tons of gold. So your currency is valued according to how much gold your country has. So they go on stealing these things from other countries. That is what China is also doing in Balochistan and Pak-occupied Kashmir. They are taking some minerals and other things, very valuable things from there, stealing it and taking it to their country. That is what America is doing. They will be stealing petrol from Iraq and all other Gulf countries. These are all robbers because their religion sanctions these things. You can take it. if your very religion is saying those things. And then he was saying that even in communism it is not said that you should commit violence in their book. But it is said very clearly, and justifies the mean. All means are all right if you have achieved your end. And they are dividing society, they are creating division in society. And they say that there is a conflict in the society among the bourgeois and the proletarian. And they are talking about revolution. And they must have talked about bloody revolution also. I have not read much about Marxism, but they have talked about conflict. They must have talked about violence also. And these people, whether they have talked about violence or not, but Marx himself was a very unconscious person. You cannot expect the love and compassion and silence and peace of Buddha from him. He was himself not living according to his philosophy. He was all for the working class. Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. But what for you want to unite these workers? Just to create violence, just to create revolution. And he was not a worker. He was living a very rich life. He was not even doing any work. His friend Angel was a very rich person, and he was living in his money, on his money. And he would be going, he used to smoke. He was a chain smoker. He will smoke one after other cigarette, and very costly cigarette. And whatever he is written, it is not based on his experience. He used to sit in London library somewhere, and he would be sitting there for 16 hours, 18 hours. And he was not ready to go out of the library, so they will have to take him out. Many times he would become unconscious. So he was just collecting things from other people. They must have talked about violence. They must have talked about violence. To remove those who are capitalist. To create equality in the world. So, and these are sleepy people, unconscious people. There is no love within them. So if the love is not within them, how can it can spread outside? These Christians, they say, love is the message of Jesus. Maybe Jesus never existed. He is just an imaginary character. And if you want to attract people, you just use good words. But what you are doing in actuality, how the Christianity has spread, how Islam has spread, it is only because of violence. It is all because of forceful conversion. What they have done is only violence. Now in India, there is a Waqf board. And when this Congress was in power, so they have given them so much power that any land, if they grab it and they say that there was some this place, within this place is the grave of some of our saint, they can take that land. And once they have taken that land, they will ask this district magistrate, now you give this land to us, and then this land will be transferred to them. So in this way they go on capturing land within this country. So they have applied all kind of sinister ways to achieve their end.
Because you were saying about the ex-Muslims, right? So my question is, when these ex-Muslims they leave Islam, right? Are they totally abandoning and totally free from the conditioning that was put in them through their life?
I told you before also when I was speaking that they are reacting. It is not a response. How can they be free from the conditioning and programming? They have just because they have suffered so much from Islam, because of Islam. So they have reacted to it. But the reaction is only of the conscious mind. Their unconscious remains untouched. So that's why they are applying the same yardstick to any religion, because they think religion means something like Islam, or at the maximum they know something about these Abrahamic religion, and they are so fed up they are so frustrated with religion, and they are so spent also. They are exhausted, so they don't want to explore at all. And their conditioning of Islam has gone very deep in the unconscious. They are not at all free. So whatever they are saying it is all reaction. It is not a response. It is the same conditioning. Now they are giving different words, but they are full of hatred towards all the religion. They are full of hatred for those people who are following any religion without understanding anything of those religion. And if you have become totally free from Islam, if you are dehypnotized, if you have become free from your conditioning, then why you go on every day? You have to go on for hours abusing Islam, or you have to go on speaking against Islam. That means you are still attached to it. Now your attachment is negative. You are still clinging to it. Now first you may have been praising it, now you are condemning it, but you are still identified with it. You have not become free from it. If you have become free from it, if you have deprogrammed yourself by watching everything very consciously, then it no longer matters to you. But the bad taste still remains. And if you want to take people out of Islam and you have become freed from it, you have gone out of its conditioning, then there will be no condemnation, there will be no praise. You will be just stating the factual things, but there will be no emotions involved. But now you are seeing you have kept all the religion in the same basket. You think all the religions are same. Now you have kept all the religion in the same basket. Now you are seeing all the religion with the same prejudice. There are wrong things in all the religion, because there are few enlightened people, but most of the people who are following them, they are still sleeping. They may be they are on the different level. That's why these religions, those religion which have real understanding of the psychology of human being, they have many layers in it. For those people who cannot understand very subtle thing, for them, they have mythology, they have stories. But if you contemplate on those stories, there is a deeper meaning in those stories. They will be always teaching you how ultimately it is truth which is victorious. If you are a evil person, then ultimately you will suffer. You can never become silent. You can never become peaceful. So slowly, they are trying to take you to higher level. Now, if you say that for everyone, there should be same truth. Everyone should be told the highest thing. This is stupidity. Even if you are studying in schools and colleges, to everyone the same thing is not told. If you are studying in KG or class 1 or class 2, you are not told what is in the course of MA or PhD. As you grow, greater things are told to you, higher things are revealed to you. So that's why when there are stories in Ramayana and Mahabharata, and these stories look like very like it cannot happen, but when you are telling stories which is superhuman, then ordinary people get interested in them. So just to make them interested, just to make them attentive, these stories are told in very juicy way, in very superhuman way. If the stories are just like ordinary, they are all like ordinary human being, then who will be interested in those stories? It is like story of Tarzan or Phantom or Tintin for those people who are of not very high level in spirituality. It is for kindergarten students. But from highest to lowest, from lowest to highest, there is a connection. So if you see these ex-Muslims, most of them, they don't have any desire to explore anymore, because they have become so much spent. They have become burnt out by the Islam. But if you see, there are some intelligent ex-Muslim, they have started meditating. Some of them are enjoying meditation very much. They are growing. So in everything, you cannot keep everyone in the same basket. Even among ex-Muslim, there will be some very, very honest. There will be some dishonest. They are not all same. In the same way, all the religions are not same. And even in the same religion, it is not just one thing that is told, but they are so already conditioned by Abrahamic religion, where there is one prophet, one Messiah, one founder, so, and one holy book, one personal God. So you don't have the variety, you don't have different food, different medicine for different kind of people. You are applying the same medicine. So they think that in all the scriptures of Hindus or Buddhists, the same thing is written. It is not the same thing that is written. There are some books which are so high that even at present modern science has not reached to that level of even human physiology. What they are talking in yoga about human physiology, modern science has not reached to that level. What Freud, Jung and Adler were talking about, unconscious, collective unconscious, they have gone far beyond that. So, and many of the things they steal from India. Even this theory which Jagdish Chandra Basu gave, that there is life in the plants, he got it from the Upanishads. Then he started experimenting, and then he found. But there are two ways to find the same thing. One way is to find things through scientific equipment, through instruments, and the other way is to find through your own inner interiority, your own consciousness inside you. What science is doing is they are denying the subject, they are denying the observer. They are just accepting the object, but they are denying the subject. But there is no existence of the object without the subject. There has to be some subject to know the object. Descartes said that cogito ergo sum. That means I think, therefore I am. But this is wrong. Existence is prior to thinking. First you are, only then you can think. First the consciousness has to be there, only then you will be able to think. So these ex-Muslims, and now they have used this term ex-Muslim. Why ex-Muslim? That also means you are clinging to the past. Why ex and why Muslim? That means you are a dead person. Nothing new is happening to you. When you have gone beyond Islam, why Muslim? Why ex-Muslim? Just give it up completely. Then only you can start a new journey. Then only you can start afresh. Otherwise you are still identified with it.
You are very much afraid of anything negative coming. Too much fear. What kind of this mind is this? What others are saying affects you so much. That means you don't have anything inside you. You are just... What is the need to give too much? What someone has written, it is whatever is written, it's all dead thing. Only when you take it, it becomes alive. Otherwise, it is all dead. That means that you don't have any intelligence at all. When those people were writing something against you, you were affected. This is all bullshit. That means you are seeking attention, whether it is positive or negative. All the time you want some attention. If you see these ex-Muslim, how much they are being abused by Muslims. So much is said to them, so much. Every day there will be threat to their life. In that sense, you have to see they are very courageous. But you have so much fear, you are just a pushy cat. With word, no one can kill you. Words are just word. Word is not a knife. Word is not a weapon. It only becomes a weapon when you start internalizing them. You start taking them inside you. If nothing negative is ever written against you, no one will give you any attention also. When negative things are written, that means you have hit at the bullseyes. That is the weakness of Islam also. When someone says anything against them, they are ready to kill people. That means they are already defeated. If anyone says anything against Islam, against Quran, against Muhammad, you want to chop their head, you want to kill them. That means you know that you are wrong. Otherwise, why you are so much affected? If you are right, you are right. If I go on telling you that you are a man, you are a man, you are a man, you won't become a man. And if you know that you are not a man, then why you are affected? If your religion is very superior, then whatever others are saying, it should not make any difference to you. But all the time you have to kill other people. You say that Allah, without the will of Allah, not even a leaf can move. then anyone who is writing anything against Islam or saying anything against Islam, that is also the will of Allah. Why you have to come in between? You say that if someone says anything wrong, Allah will punish that person. If let Allah punish, why you come? Why you have to come? That means you know that there is no Allah. That is just your invention. You feel insecure. You want to rule the whole world. You want to be powerful over everyone. You have reduced Islam into just a political thing. When your motive is just to capture everyone, just to destroy everyone, then Allah is just a tool in your hand which you are using. If you remain silent, problem will go on increasing. When you are silent, you are supporting the evil forces. If you are killing people in the name of religion, if you want to destroy all other, and that according to you is the most religious act, when everyone is either converted or killed, only then the judgment day will happen. This is religion or this is pathology?
Pathology.
I was listening to some ex-Muslim today, and he was saying that it is written there that even on the judgment day, there is one tree, he didn't mention the name of the tree, which is very favorable to the Jew. And that tree will say to a Jew or some Jew who are, that you come under me, you hide behind me so that these Muslim will not kill you. So maybe some Muslim they could not find, then another group of Muslim came and they found that they are hiding under the tree. Then they killed those Jews. So he was saying that even on the day of judgment they are thinking of killing Jew. And they have created a story, fictitious story, that Jews are planting those trees very much because they are afraid of us, because they think this tree will protect them. And he was also saying, one ex-Muslim asked him, what are the good thing you find in Islam? He said nothing. Then he said there are two things. One is that it is written that if you kill one human being, you are killing the whole humanity. But he was saying that it looks that it is also stolen from Bible or somewhere else. It's not originally Islamic. Then the other person said that when those who are commenting on Islam, those who are experts, scholars, they write in the bracket where it is, if you kill one human being, you are killing the whole humanity. In the bracket, they write that if you kill one Muslim, that is equivalent to killing the whole humanity. So the whole thing is totally destroyed. Human being means only Muslim, because it is written in their scripture, in the Quran, that all other are worse than pigs. All others are worse than any animal. They should be killed. If you are killing them, then you are serving them. You are liberating them in a way. They are worse than dogs and pigs. They don't have any right to exist. And then I was listening some other day to some other ex-Muslim. He said that the word they have used is that if you kill an innocent person, it is equivalent to killing the whole humanity. But the word they have used for innocent is masoom, and masoom is used for, in Arabic, that It is used for those prophet of Islam. So if you are killing one prophet of Islam, that means you are killing the whole humanity. So it has nothing to do with other human beings. It is only to do with Muslims. If you are killing any Muslim, you are killing the whole humanity. And the other thing is said that in Quran is that it is written there that before you feed yourself, you should take care of your neighbors. First feed them. This is nothing spiritual. There is nothing spiritual about it. It is at the maximum a moral science, a good teaching. There is nothing great about it. It is just a normal human emotion that if someone is hungry in front of you, you would like to share with him. But what is spiritual about it? That is why in India it is said that the lowest level of what do you call it? Charity is when you give someone food. Because if you give someone food, after some time he will again become hungry. Higher than that is if you educate someone. If you educate someone, then he will be able to feed himself. He will not need you to feed him. And the highest thing is that if you tell them the way to liberation, if you are showing someone the way to liberation, that is the highest, because then he will be freed forever from this bondage of this body, mind. That is the highest charity, the highest service.
Actually, when I was buying it already, most of the products, right, the comment is like it won't last long. This kind of thing.
These Chinese things are like that. That means they are cheating the world. Either you should make something good. It's not that you make few things very good and then you keep too much price, and other things too bogus just to cheat people. Most of the time, those people who buy cheaper things, they are poorer. So you should, if you are little sensitive, you will not cheat them, because they're so poor and you are giving them something which won't last at all. That shows your mind, how ugly is your mind. Just to become richer and richer, you are exploiting people to such an extent. That's why there is so much love relation between Islam and communism, because both of them are just there to cheat people. Both of them are there to exploit people. They just want to create hell in this world. That is their whole motive. Whatever they are saying that they want equality, they want poverty to be removed, it's all bullshit. They have nothing to do with removing poverty. They want everyone to be equally poor. They don't want to make anyone rich. And only few people who are in the Communist Party, they will become more and more powerful. This is what has happened with Islam also. Everywhere, wherever there is Islam, in all those countries, they have not even been able to invent even a needle of their own. All the Islamic countries, they have about 58 countries. None of them have invented anything. They have not contributed anything. And their women are everywhere suffering too much. Very few women are allowed to do anything. Just few years back, in Saudi Arabia, they have allowed women to drive. That also because of Mohammed bin Salman, I think his name is Mohammed bin Salman, the new emperor of Saudi Arabia. He is liberal because he is educated in West. He is trying to bring changes. He is saying that these hadiths are not fit for modern time, and you want to change things in Quran also. But if you change things in Quran, that means Allah can be wrong. So then the whole Quran becomes wrong. They know that it is all just fictitious. It is all just created. But now, when you have created such a big business out of it, you cannot give up so easily. You are going to add these things also.
Should I add?
Why you always ask? When I say something, I say just to put it there.
Okay.
Just to remain alive is not a great goal. And if they cannot even accept this much, they will anyway destroy everyone. This is a cancer. This is a terminal cancer. They have, it is this in Islam, it is said, these Muslims, they said that the last war will happen, last battle will happen with stones. They are going to take humanity to such a state where nothing will be there, only stones will remain. And what they will be doing, if they are able to bring the world to such a state, only Muslim will be fighting with Muslim. That's why there is a cartoon in which one Muslim, he has in both of his hand 2 swords, and in both of his leg 2 swords, and his own hand and feet, they're fighting with the 4 swords, because now no one else has remained alive, only he has remained alive. So with whom he will fight? So his own hand and feet are fighting with each other. Because once you know only one thing, how to fight, how to destroy, how to kill, even if you remain yourself, you will be fighting inside your head. Your left brain will be fighting with the right brain. But in reality, the fight is all the time going inside our head. It has nothing to do with outside. If the fight is inside your head, then it will come out. It will manifest outside also. That's why only meditation can help. Because meditation means silencing your mind, going beyond your mind. So once you are freed from your mind, then the fight is over inside you. Is it clear?
Yes, clear, Swami.